Kavan, this is your GM in the Great Barrier, broadcasting from the center of your entertainment galaxy, and we are live tonight with Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword. We're about to come back with tonight's episode, Hay'wI, Part 3. Before we do that, note on casting for the evening. We are shy a few players tonight. One will be joining us later. Our ship's doctor and captain will be out tonight, but then they are on a whole different planet anyway, so it's fine. As far as those joining us tonight, we have currently in the pen, we've got one Mr. Azek Korg, played by Joe, the Overland gamer. How's it going, Joe?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Excellent. We have the ship's engineer, Rladaar, played by Caligo. How's it going there, dude?
It's doing all right. Doing all good.
Excellent. Rounding out the cast for the moment, we also have one Cheesy in the role of Traven Lex. How are you doing today, there, Cheesy?
I feel like my inevitable end is coming soon,
No.
but we'll see.
You get knocked down, then you get up again, but you get knocked down pretty frequently, because this place is dangerous.
This place is less dangerous than the ship. I just want to point that out.
That's fair. Although the ship could hypothetically raise shields as opposed to just buildings that quickly turn to shrapnel. Also, to be fair, you haven't been eaten on that ship before. Although I guess you did get your neck snapped by a doctor once. That's a fair cop. You can die in a different place, Traven, and today might be a good day to die. Anyway, rounding out our cast here in just a little bit will be Ray, who usually plays the character of Woe, but also the sporting character of Croker. So we'll get on with the episode in just a moment. Before we do that, figure I'd let players get in some shout-outs here for different projects, and I was completely losing my train of thought. I'm going to go a little out of order. I have Caligo, I have yours up next, so we'll let you go first. So, let's see.
All right.
So,
Yeah, I'm doing a debut stream on Friday for a new model I've done. So that'll be fun. Stop by.
yes, very good. That'll be this Friday. Did you have what time were you thinking of starting that?
At 12 CST.
Very good. So,
I didn't know you were a model. What kind of model? Like, are we talking commercial model, runway model, glamour model?
Unhinged. Overpriced, even. No, underpriced. I don't know.
That's exciting.
yeah. So in any case, for those of you watching in the archive, you can catch that on, I believe, twitch.tv/ is it the Zyla OXO?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very good. He's also been running a Dungeons and Dragons game on recent Mondays. I didn't catch it yesterday, so I don't know if you guys were off or whatever.
We were off.
Okay. Well, I'd say go ahead and give them the follow so that you can keep up to date on all of that. Then we also, for those in the archive, have one Joe, the Overland gamer, who has a channel as well. You can check them out here. Joe, we were talking a bit before recording. What did you have going on?
Well, we started off with the new next-gen updates for Fallout 4 and checking those out, which are pretty sweet. But then Rockfish Games, the guys behind Everspace 1 and Everspace 2, released their big DLC earlier this week. So we'll be playing some Everspace 2 and seeing what all the new changes are coming up. If you like space shooters and kind of the elements of Diablo with different sizes of ships and classes of ships and stuff, and kind of that hack and slash, but set in space. Definitely come check us out when we play Everspace 2.
Very good. So definitely check them out. Also linked here will be the Overland Gamer podcast for those of you that are interested in following that there. I know there hasn't been much new there in a little while, but um, still great opportunities to catch up. Much as it is with our previous streams, which we'll be looking to get back. Oh, I always say we'll be looking to get back to normal schedule. I do seriously. I would definitely like that, but we're such is life sometimes. That's all I'll say. In any case, yeah. For those of you in the archive, we hope you join us live some of the time. But until then, let's get down to tonight's episode. So, when last we left off, the Yan has landed on the world Hosh Samar, which I think it was Hol Shamar, the third planet of the Shamar system, where a battle has raged for weeks between the forces of House Mog, an ascendant house in the trying to fight a long feud with the House of Katoh. And then there is, rather than the forces of House Katoh themselves, you find yourself involved because House Mog, or rather, you find yourselves involved because House Kalorn of all groups has gotten involved. This is the house that you belong to, Rladaar, and it seems as though an uncle by the name of Kulek has joined battle with the Mog for whatever reason over this planet. It sounded as though it was of modest value, but his interest seems more either for love of battle or perhaps that House Katoh didn't bother to show up when the Mog tried to attack the planet. Either way, they've been fighting here for weeks. It seems as though the Klingons have raged thoroughly against each other, and at this point both sides are pretty well depleted, but House Mog has the upper hand, unquestionably. House Kalorn is now forced to take a fortified position with ships that are largely grounded and incapable of significant fight, if even the ability to escape. The conditions on their side would suggest many of the warriors are badly injured and that even those in the best of shape are largely walking wounded. And then the weapon systems, by and large, seem to be badly depleted. This is very much a situation that would suggest is about to collapse. But Kulek supposedly is planning for one more assault. You made your way through the sensors of the House Mog ships. You managed to stealth through, conduct a strafing run, and land. And after having a chance to confer with Kulek, you, Rladaar, have figured out that while there isn't much you can do on like a conventional basis, while you don't know that you can beat them in a straight fight, you do think that with a bit of guile and a small quantity of high explosives, you might have a way to even the odds, allow for a breakthrough that would perhaps at least momentarily turn the tide of the battle and maybe even give House Kalorn the opportunity for one small victory, one that might allow them to break through the trap or to otherwise at least turn their forces for a time. As you were preparing that, the forces of House Mog appear to have launched an assault of their own, or rather an artillery barrage. That was the last moment we left, for some of the disruptor fire did manage to hit near the settlement where you were about to speak with your uncle Kulek and his attendant, and with Dar, when lights pulsed in the distance and disruptors began shattering and melting buildings around you. As you come to in the burning hulk of the settlement where you have taken up your defense, the forces of... Actually, wait a minute. Let me fix that because that's the promotional screen. Whoops. As you take up... Or rather, as you come to in the heavily bombarded settlement where your forces have taken up their position, you find yourself having to sift through the weight of some rubble. It is not particularly thick. You were lucky and spared a good bit of it. Between your tough reptilian hide and the degree of armor that you wear as just part of standard issue, it seems as though the debris did not seriously harm you. Let's see, I will not ask for any, I won't ask for any spending for anything up top here, but I will say that as you look around, you see that you don't see anyone immediately. It seems that rubble has kind of come down over much of the area, and there's a moment of stillness where you are just alone, it would seem. What would you like to do first?
Immediately, given the training and whatnot, I want to look for the other people that were in my immediate area, like my giant son and uncle. I just saw that threat flash. What was that?
Under the emerging from a considerable from a slightly larger pile of rubble, and quite angry at that, Dar pops out from the rubble, teeth and claws bared, looking around and screaming in the general direction of the building that shattered behind him. As Dar is screaming wildly, rubble begins to shift. A few warriors that were in the vicinity start extracting themselves. Some crawling out from denser piles, whilst others call out for help, as it seems that either they themselves were caught under, or some of their fellow warriors are more severely injured by that. Latash is also next to immediately come out of the debris. Dust kind of firmly coating the man's armor and long hair. So, the one person that does not appear to have come out right away would be your uncle.
I see. I will go and check where I last saw him.
Alright. It is not too far away from Latash, who is presently tossing aside some fairly heavy chunks of concrete, or rolling things over. You there, you and that. He thinks, he tries to think better of what phrase he's about to use, but really can't bring him, he won't deign you with anything that is more positive than what he has in his head, and it's not terribly positive. He just says, bring the other one here. lift through these.
Dar, over here. We ought to move this rubble.
With little more prompting, your large clone just starts shoveling the things aside, even sending Latash back just a little bit as he watches in amazement as Dar makes quick work. Clearing aside a good bit of debris, you find that there's essentially a pocket that has kind of formed, or like debris that seems to be mounted and supporting each other as a lean-to. Dar has the good sense to pull them both apart at the same time so as to not have one side come down on the other. A seeming intuitive understanding of how the basic building blocks seem to work, such as they are in this circumstance.
The toys are working.
Yeah.
The educational toys are working.
Yeah. See, your trip to Zethlor wasn't all bad. Beneath the layers of rubble, after Dar extricates that final layer, you see Kulek lying on the ground. His eyes are closed and he seems somewhat pale and ashen.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull him out.
Yep, you pull the old Klingon out. Latash comes up to his side. Tokwi! Tokwi! Oh. It's not yet. Not yet. Not this way. Let's see. Players will note, the GM, for unusual reasons, has a momentum pool. I'm dropping a point of that. Just as a matter of business, I'm going to ask Joe, since we are just starting from a previous session here, would you care to drop one of those points of momentum yourself? Much appreciated.
Gotcha.
Yep. Latash continues to shake him, and as between that and your own grasp, Rladaar, the old man, a bit of life comes back to his face and his eyes open. Those Pataks. Counter battery fire now! Now, you fools! Latash seems to, like, momentarily phased, or like, he freezes for just a moment before tapping into his communication system and barking orders. Distant rumbles of disruptor cannons that have been mounted along the perimeter begin replying to the guns of Pausmog. Kulek tries to ease, like, out of your own grasp, Rladaar, and onto his feet. You can let me go now. They're still fighting me yet. I do not need to be carried like some infirmed small child.
Yeah. If you still don't fight, then very well. Like, set him on his feet proper.
There's definitely a bit of a wobble to his feet there, as he like his legs seem like they're about to give out underneath him for just a moment, but he manages to retain his. He manages to find his footing and stand up tall. Worry not, fellow warriors. We shall answer them with an assault of our own soon. Prepare yourselves well, and we shall shall have a true glorious battle. So, as warriors try to, as the other Klingons try to get back to what they were doing, Latosh calls back to him. Hay'wI. The gunners informed me we cannot sustain bombardment for long if we are to deliver the desired offensive. I think those Mog Patachs have gotten the point. Three simultaneous shots from the guns, and then order them to cease fire. So, as Latosh does this, Kulek will turn to you, Rladaar. How goes your own preparations? I've heard that one of your mercenaries is going about through the camp and seeking warriors ready for that are ready for a struggle.
We have a plan. We have things set in motion. We'll be able to move relatively soon.
Good. Your move will be the opening salvo to our assault. He groans a bit as he brushes some more of the dust off of his armor. And you may inform me when you are ready to go. I suppose if you can keep your son in check, I can show you the present battle plan we have laid out. We bring others as desired.
Yes. Timing will be important for maximum effect. If we wish to ensure.
With that, Kulek looks over to Latosh. I will go into the bunker to prepare the briefing. See to it that other section commanders are brought in and make sure that they know that Rladaar is allowed to pass as well. Latosh will just nod a bit. Rladaar, give me an insight and command roll.
Alright. Hazard awareness?
I don't think so in this case.
Damn, alright.
Yeah, at a single success, I will say that, Latosh seems like he is still, pausing he's not quite reacting as fast as he would expect, but it doesn't seem that he's taken any sort of injury. It's more like the moment where Kulek was under the rubble, or where he emerged, seems to have given him a great deal of pause. So...
Let's see.
As Kulek disappears, Latosh looks around and says, Kulek may be more inviting, but I don't believe I have to remind anyone who serves the house not to bring guests they think would drag down our honor too excessively. We may not have much, but at least we still have that.
I will give him a stoic nod.
Bring who you will. Guards won't give you any trouble. with that, unless you want to say anything else to Latash or try to catch up with Kulek, then you would basically be free from here, Rladaar.
I gotta get the the Inglorious Bastards ready already
True, true. So,
before the meeting.
yeah. In that case, I presume that there'd be like a comm slot. You'd want to open communication to the group.
Yep.
All right. So just a quick use of our comms. Let me make that a little louder. There we go.
Yes.
Awesome.
Everyone who is coming on the sabotage mission, I want you to be ready soon.
Yeah.
There
No.
may be.
Oh, sorry. Finish your thought there, Rladaar.
We may be leaving within the next few hours.
Okay. As people are about to check in, I am going to ask who receives the message, in particular, who is interested in playing whom. So, going down the list, obviously, Rladaar, you have yourself. Ray, first off, welcome in. You might still be muted.
Hi.
Hi. I wanted to ask whom you would like to play out of the list of supporting characters we have in. You may not, in case you were not caught up from last session, Rladaar wants to do some commando shit going through the sewer, so I do mean quite literal shit may be involved. And
Oh God.
if you're
We're
not
blowing stuff up.
Yeah, if you are not interested in running Crow-Cur with this, despite the pre-established body count that we know of, there was a stowaway that Sean introduced last time, Chemok, who the gist of him would be my best impression as far as what Sean did. Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm Chemok. Chemok. I don't bathe regularly. I don't eat regular food either. You guys got food. You guys work for the house too. So, I guess I'll blow stuff up. Sound good?
He's like a less organized version of Croker. That's just sad.
I think
Yeah.
he's meant to be an anti-Croker in many ways.
Oh my God. What is his name?
Chemok.
Kimok. All right, I'll play Kimok just because I don't think Croker would vibe with the sewer.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of things he'd do, but ruining his hair. No.
Oh.
I understand. This is a risky mission, and he cannot abandon his love.
Yes.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yes.
He's on his own side mission with
Yep.
Zinal.
Yep.
Oh God.
Joe, whom would you like to play, if anyone?
Azek? No.
Do you want to take Azek onto the attack mission, or like going through the sewer?
No. Azek's on the bridge. I can take somebody else. It doesn't matter who.
Okay. We are. I think that past Hamok we would. Well, it would be. Let's see. We've got Kalsha. We do technically have Dar if. At least Victor's okay with you rolling for him. I leave that up to you there, Caligo.
If somebody else wants to roll for him, I'm fine with that.
No.
Yeah, I can take Dar.
Okay. And then Traven, as I understand it, or Cheesy. I know Traven's been doing other things, but I guess you have the pick whether you want to bring him along for the... or whether you want him to put himself in unnecessary danger again, or if we want to carry through with the Creole friend after that talk from last time.
Remind me, because I remember that Zynol took me into town. What were we grabbing again?
Um,
I couldn't remember from last session.
oh, let's see. Sorry, my sinuses are screaming and my bones are hurting. And I don't see the precise bit in my notes here, so I think that, jeez. One thing.
Right, we were
Oh, God.
we were getting the power from the other ships to power one ship so we can get people out.
Yes, yes. So Traven is busy at the moment. I guess then. So you can bring Nogri then.
All great, ready to go.
Yes, yes. Very good.
Wait.
All right. So let us assemble the bastards then, and make sure that everybody is capable of seeing characters here. So we bring. We've got Nogri. We've got Hamok.
Really bringing the second support character squad.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. So, Rladaar, you and the remaining, the next most beefy entities you have on the ship at present, assemble near the bunker. Let's see. I dare say that as you cross paths, there might have been one more Chemok going up and actually asking Nogri if he wants to go blow up and die like Sean was the last time. Well, I'll leave it to you whether you guys actually want to role play that, but suffice to say, the Expendables are here now.
Lovely. Well, not everyone's expendable. Dar is here.
Yes, Dar is here. As is Nogri, who I refuse to let die.
May he survive.
Gets his shoulder
I need-
bitten off by a giant lizard, dies from one shot to the chest.
No!
I need access to Dar's character sheet to be able to roll for him.
I'll do that. I will say, Nogri, Azek was not lying when he said that you would not only be helping Rladaar, but also that same mutant lizard that you saw from the last time. He is here, and he is going to stare you down.
Is he staring at me right now?
Yes.
You know, for a while, I was very angry at you. Then I realized you're a giant eating lizard. You could have killed me, and you didn't. I appreciate that.
Back up. Launch.
Now I am going to eat things that are not tasty just for you. You know what? Grabs a nearby plant and just starts chewing on it. I know you don't like vegetables.
Real bold to think there's any plants nearby.
Chunk of dirt.
Nogri,
Nogri is just basting himself in poisons every day.
Nogri, give me a fitness plus medicine roll, please. And just for the fun of it, I'm
Anything
spending
bad
a
is gonna
point of threat.
Yo. Give me a second. I'm not seeing his character on my thing.
Let me make sure Nogri is visible. It should be under the supporting characters tab. And everybody should be able to see it now. Yeah, it's like right at the top of the supporting characters tab, which is under the characters tab.
That is so weird. There it is. Oh, I'm on Google. I'm so sorry. Google loads slow and does things wrong. Sorry. Fix that here in just a second. You said a fitness and what again?
Medicine.
I think you should get Google as a sponsor and just have that little tidbit he said.
Yeah, somebody clip that for my eventual Google sponsorship interview.
Exactly.
I got 2.
I think you're better off trying to get Offer GX to sponsor you.
I rolled a 1. Yeah, I got 2.
Yep. So you did get 2 successes there. Nogri, the plant, you're certain it doesn't taste good to... It wouldn't taste good to Dar. It doesn't taste good to you, but the weed that you've extracted and the large clump of dirt, you think you at least managed to avoid dragging anything that might have been, left from a trench or broken sewer line at the very least. So it's a bad earthen taste, but it is not so bad that it causes you to involuntarily, immediately spit it out. You make your point.
Lunch.
Is what I'm saying.
Lunch isn't so good today.
Yeah, Dar just... Maybe it's the tenacity of your display, or maybe it remembers the uppercut you delivered whilst fighting it off. But the giant clone will turn away from you and follow your lead, Rladaar.
Alright. When we will likely leave after our meeting. So, me and Dar will be sitting in. So, eat up like it's the last meal you've got. And I will walk into the room.
Okay. So, walking your way through the tunnels of the bunker, Rladaar, you and Dar, momentarily stopped by guards. You are allowed passage, and amongst a group of Klingons huddled over a long table where Kulek is going over his battle plan here. You hear his voice getting loud and as grandiose as his body language portrays as well. As you catch sight of that, he is making sweeping arm gestures. And some of that is starting to become clear to you once you enter. Yes. So while our division, while our 4th division makes its assault along the diversionary line, the other 2 will proceed in a pincer movement, one bursting through the disrupted section, and the other swinging around on the most extreme end. They shall be in such utter disarray so as to not be able to respond effectively. We shall take them by surprise after our bombardment. And here's the vital key to our plan. A warrior serving the House of Kalorn. The Klingons all look in your general direction, Rladaar. Yes. Tell me there, Rladaar. Your team has what you need to proceed.
We do.
Very good, very good. Then, you may begin your assault within the hour. We are making final preparations and dispersing orders. Latash seems to perk up for a moment. Jokwi, launching the assault within that time frame may prove difficult to get the warriors, what warriors we have, properly mobilized. They will make their positions as ordered. We are Klingons. We shall storm their. We shall be able to storm their position soon after Rladaar succeeds. Yeah, Rladaar, over the shoulders of some of the Klingons, some of whom have parted out of the way. You look and see what appears to be a lot of the banners suggesting the troop elements seem to be concentrated in a few spots, and from the looks of things, appeared to be arrayed in positions you would guess would be more offensively minded. I don't know how much you are as familiar with ground warfare versus space warfare, given that your training was mostly in the fleet. I guess if you'd like to roll on it, you could run insight for it, or spend momentum.
All right. I'll give it a roll.
Okay, let's call this insight plus security. Call it a difficulty of 1.
Hazard awareness? Is this a hazardous formation?
I'll allow you use of the. I will allow you use of the roll here,
All right.
or the focus. That is.
Yes.
And that would be 3 successes, which is definitely enough to succeed. So, that will give you. Let's see. Let me make sure the counts are actually all correct right now. So, properly right now, you should actually have. Well, you were actually at 4 points. Now you should be up to 6 after that. I'm also revising my threat count. I had spent one earlier, so for those watching here, I should be 15 and 15 threat and a full 6 momentum. From what you heard Kulek discussing and what the way that he has everything arranged, it seems as though he wants to put basically all of his he's basically making a big play for a gamble of sorts, sending the bulk of his forces into a 3-pronged offensive, one of which will be headed towards the route that your forces would be disrupting, but 2 equally sized forces look as though they're going to charge into positions the enemy has fortified that you won't be doing anything to disrupt at that point, or not more than you already were. You would also note that as far as the hazard awareness goes, once they get past their bunkers, they basically step onto no man's land, and from there would have to charge other fortified positions, trenches, other sort of obstacles of their own. As you ponder that, one of the other warriors says, Sir, my divisions do not have the strength to man the ground positions if we depart those areas. What should we do with that to maintain maintain the overwatch? Pull some of the wounded not capable of walking. They can still serve honorably. I am also giving orders to pull personnel from some of the ship's logistical quarters. Anyone that can be armed with a disruptor will do so. If we run out of disruptors, we shall dispense blades. We will give the enemy the full power of our might.
What is the ultimate objective of your assault, General?
Kulak looks to you, just very slightly incredulous. It is simple. We break the line in these 3 locations. We rout the enemy forces and entrapping or forcing some to surrender, or more likely, simply annihilate them. Once we have broken through those areas, we will be able to seize supplies as well. We can eliminate forces in those sectors and turn the enemy before they have a chance to completely regroup. If that fails, a glorious battle will surely ensue.
I see. If I may speak freely,
He's silent for a moment before trying to throw on a weary but still like sort of gregarious in the bloodthirsty sense that many Klingons do when they've got that song of battle in their hearts. I will allow it.
I think you are focusing too much on the wrong battle.
What battle is there other than the one that we have before us?
You look too much within the second dimension, you see the ground, but there is still the battle in the skies. If you cannot open up a hole for potential supplies in the future, you are just prolonging the siege you are stuck in.
I have no doubt that that will not be a problem for very long. Your arrival may be small here, but by earning this reprieve, it will provide more time for the House of Kalorn to show in full force, for the Sons of Kalorn to join us on the battlefield and seize the glory that we are ready to present them.
I have seen many battles where low supplies have drawn an end to what would have been glorious death. I would recommend you find use for your ships. That is heavy weaponry that is not being utilized. And that, done in placement I will give you an opening to launch them.
At this point, Kulek's brow begins to harden a bit. Well, your insights will be noted, Rladaar. But they sit as a far more seasoned warrior. I can say that the the so-called urgency of our supply situation necessitates a quick strike. Once we beat through the Mog, seize what we need to, then we will have all the supply we need to hold them off for a time. If retreat is something that interests you, however, after your operation, you will have my permission to do so.
Buying time, buying time. I see. I'm gonna eye his second in command for a moment before looking back at Tulek. Very well. It is not my place to dissuade you of your orders, just giving you all the insight you require.
Yes. Well, we have one other advantage with the soldiers that we have here, and that those who will take part in this offensive. We are Klingons. Battle lives in our hearts, and we shall claim the glory this day. For House Kulek, or rather for House Cologne, and for all our ancestors, and for those to come after. And Kulek is going to attempt to he's going to attempt to rouse the troops a little bit, so I'm actually going to see whether he is succeeds at a little inspiration roll here. Oh, just barely. Will be enough to give him one more point here. Yes. You all have your orders. Move to your posts. Ready your troops. For today is a good day for victory. And if we do not taste it, then it shall at least be a good day to die. From there, the other warriors will start to shuffle out. Latash will linger a moment before, he will he'll be one of the last ones out. Would you choose to step out as Kulek dismisses his other warriors, or would you want to linger, Rladaar?
I'm going to follow Latash.
Very well. So, once you leave following shortly behind Latash, he gives a few orders to some mid-ranking officers, it seems, dispersing them, and as they leave and as the other high-ranking officers start moving to their positions, he just pauses for a moment, brushing aside some of his hair that's gotten in his face.
Latash?
You.
I wish to have a quick word with you.
He regards you for a moment and then looks around the relatively open space. Not here.
I give him a nod of understanding.
Yep. Waves you over to a more isolated corner. Actually, taking you up some steps to where you leave the bunker section, and you emerge, I'd say actually, further up in a building, one that seems to be mostly destroyed. with this, you are afforded a view over the city, over jagged remnants of the settlement that stare out over that, and the geography, which likewise presents pretty sharp features on the horizon. Beyond it, the no man's land and the encampments of the Malag forces. Once he has led you to this isolated place, he says, "Speak your bit."
Kulek's plan is going to get you killed, and most of the warriors here. He is pushing you too hard, and I can see it clearly written when he is not even giving you the time to relocate warriors.
It is as he said. We are Klingons. We were born for battle. We will make this happen, whatever it costs.
I have seen this exact scenario play out many times during the later days of the War with the Federation. When supplies were a rarity. Even if you succeed, you'll just be pushed back to the same position. They had full troop carriers, and they will be ready to continue the siege far longer than you can withstand it.
As you continue, there's a steady simmer before his brow begins to furrow that slight bit more until finally he can bear no more. Do you think I do not recognize the desperate situation we are in? The grim outlook for victory in this battle. What would you... Go ahead.
What would I have you do?
Yes, what would you have me do here?
If you were in command, what would your plan be?
He ponders for a moment. At this point, I do not know that I could see another way out of this. The ships we have left are either too badly damaged or too depleted in terms of their main power to make warp speed. It is doubtful we could break through their orbital blockade without taking heavy fire both on the ground and from space. The only option that remains for a Klingon, it would seem, is battle of some fashion. Unless we had more reinforcements to come.
Which is uncertain.
I must admit I would have expected the Sons of Cologne to show by now. Or even House Ketoch to bring forces of their own to defend a world they supposedly treasure so deeply. What strategy would your time in the fleet have told you?
In scenarios like this, we adapted elastic warfare, preferring mobility over set positions. If the enemy outguns you, then you want to limit how many of those guns they can use.
bad
There
one.
is a hole through their blockade, and we know that. There'll be another when I destroy those guns. When I destroy those guns, it'll be your choice to decide which of these battles you think will be more worth fighting.
I will
Retreat isn't dishonorable if you intend to fight again.
Kulek will not retreat. And I will serve him to his end.
Let's see. Very well. Do not let the seeking of glory overlook victory in the long term. You know what you can do, and I cannot force you. Your choice will come when those guns are destroyed. I will say no more.
As you turn about and say, I will not be in service to him for much longer. This will be Kulek's last battlefield. And I am going to drop 2 points of threat to close off the scene as you turn and ponder about these words. While we do that, I am going to shift the scenes around just for a moment. Not before sending you something via Discord there, Caligo.
Oh boy! I see.
Alright. Let's see. So, while we're doing that, let us check in with the rest of the crew. Let's see here. We could, I suppose, we have some options here. So I'd like to run around the horn and see what people are interested in. First, on the main characters, obviously, we have Azek on the ship. We have Traven out with Zionol, and I'm retroactively willing to include Croker on that if you two plus an NPC Zionol want to do anything. And then, of course, alternatively, Joe, if you want any scenes with the crew, or if you want to communicate with anybody, like you guys have your purview. So, would anybody have strong preferences either way?
Azek is just doing system diagnostics and keeping an eye on things, trying to make sure all the ships are getting where they need to go. That's he's kind of barreled down with I think Vopri's with him, just kind of making sure evacuation's going well.
Yeah. Alright. Just waiting to do the next thing then. I gotcha. So I guess then, I'll shift around to Cheesy. Ray, would either of you like anything with the characters you have access to before we get too far in the next direction here?
Have we found an intact ship yet?
I'd be willing to follow up with you guys looking around for ships in decent shape. So let's. I'll say that you guys are still like looking through the yard at this point, or the docking area. Really, it's just an improvised set of like landing pads, and probably a few odd fields in the settlement that were just kind of open spaces.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and shoehorn Croker into that situation just because he's scheming with Zynel.
Yep. So, Croker, after realizing that there was like an artillery barrage at the city, you had to make sure that Croker was or rather that Zionel was okay, and yeah, a quick run from the ship nearest to their their life signs. You do find they were well out of range of that barrage. So we'll just follow up. Croker, when you emerge from the yawn, it too has set down in basically a field within the settlement, basically some sort of park type area. Ships are kind of interspersed all around here. Several large, effectively what would be troop carriers. Some bird of preys are in the mix. Just all sorts of different ships that look like the weird house vessels of the Discovery era, basically. Um, they they all look pretty well worse for wear, but the the two that are not looking worse for wear, not so much ships but people, would be Traven and Zionel, who you are able to find very quickly.
I approach swiftly, but as I get closer, I slow down as to appear more cool. Good to see you guys are okay.
Oh, yes, of course, Croker. Well, that's the nice thing about standing immediately by vessels that have active shield systems projected in the upper atmosphere. It's a nice way to keep out of the precipitation, as it were, acknowledging the distant, like, sounds of explosions and flashes of green light from over the horizon.
Yes, it is a beautiful rain for sure, but I understand the need for cover. With that, he looks to Traven. Slightly intrigued that Traven is there because he does not seem to realize that Zynel and Traven are kind of buddies. Aren't you supposed to be in the kitchen?
With that, Traven's gonna spark up and look angrily. Only one of my lives has been in a kitchen. Only one, maybe two.
I was about to say,
That's
wasn't
it.
it? Hmm. Uh, he notices the little rigidity of Mr. Man and says, "Ah, you have a warrior spark. Nice." And he moves closer, slightly more comfortable now that he's made Traven angry.
So we're gonna look for a ship. I'm hoping with an energy source, but also in the absolute emergency case, any type of uh, beacon or signal that we could send out. If they have the power to do that, is something we need to.
GM
Yes,
is Betty capable of scanning from the yawn for anything they're looking for?
I think that could be arranged.
Okay. Croker like pretty much calls the yawn. Beatrice. Yes. What is it now? I require your assistance for our compadres. He doesn't really know what to call them, but there's something. Well, I think that can be arranged. What are we looking for, sweethearts? You guys just hear this directed at you from the little
Oh,
watch or whatever.
a power source and any form of communication that could
Okay.
send the signal out.
All right. Well, if the GM wants to roll for me, because I don't have hands and I can't access Roll20 right now.
I would be delighted to. Oh no, Betty's. I forget Betty's in my computer system now, too.
Of course.
Let's see. So this would be Reason plus Science, which, going off of Croker's stats, are actually some of the best. Plus, there is a sensor operations focus.
Where are all these cornbread recipes coming from?
Perfection. Just as a reminder, Ray, this is an activation, so we don't have to do anything with it right now, but basically you can give Croker a value, talent, or focus to help improve his abilities. We can talk about it later, just send me a message, or I will.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, I'll make a note of it here in the Discord.
All right. Excellent.
I.O. Croker 1 activation. There we go. Now everyone will remember.
Everyone will see.
I'll go a step further. I'm going to pin it. All right. So, let's see. With that, Croker will make an attempted roll. Let me ask, did you want to spend any momentum on that, or did you want to buy extra dice? I'm going to say, for the task you're doing, it would be a difficulty 3 roll as you try to fumble through all the mess that this battle has created.
Do we consider this very important enough to spend momentum? Cheesy.
I'm debating. What do you guys think? 'Cause
We
this
got,
is kind of a side mission, isn't it?
Well, I got like max momentum.
Do it.
Do it. All right, let's do it.
Okay, I can drop, well, let's see. I suppose I could, to make things as simple as possible, we can buy 2 dice with that for 3 momentum, and that way Joe just needs to drop 1 since I never assigned more to the pool. But that'll give you 4 dice. So
How many?
just drop 1 out of the pool. That's good.
Got it. Got it.
All right. Let's see. That is 5 successes and a natural 20. So.
Oh my god. Calm
So,
down, Betty.
Ray, would you like that to, for that complication? Let me first say, as a difficulty 3 roll, there's 2 momentum incoming, so you have the 3 options. I know which one you're taking, but I have to read them off every time. When you roll a complication, you may either accept a narrative complication, ignore it, and give the GM 2 threat, or buy it off with momentum. What are you going to be? And it's narrative, isn't it?
It's always the narrative, my friend. Always.
I thought as much. Somebody clipped that. Okay, well, I know exactly how I'm going to do this. I am also going to give you 2 points of momentum back. Betty, or rather, yeah, as you run the scan, trying to go as non-obtrusively as possible to look that out. I will say you're successful insofar as, like, you don't trip any emergency sensors, but the extent of battle damage and depletion becomes much more clear. It seems that numerous vessels have suffered damage to engines such that they may not even be able to take off again. Antimatter levels are reading it low pretty much across all of the ships. And there are signs that even fusion power systems are damaged, so antimatter is mostly relevant for warp drive, also to make sure that you can blow up torpedoes, but the main reactors, that basically powers the main reactor, and those ships that are intact here just do not have a lot of it left. Furthermore, several ships show signs of having been cannibalized, having systems torn out, particularly disruptors that are mounted kind of around areas along the perimeter here. Others may have taken some fire from the ground, a few unlucky shots. Yeah. So.
All right, well, bad news, Sugar Boots. All the giddy up here is gone. You're just going to have to probably either make do with various parts, even though I don't think that's really an option for any of you guys. But yeah, it looks like there's not much worth salvaging.
Can any of them produce a signal then?
I will say communications are intact, but they are being
Communications.
jammed.
There's jam everywhere. Smuckers, to be precise, I think you should just err on the side of caution if you're trying to send anything.
I'm gonna mute my comm real quick, and I'm gonna turn to the other two, and I'm gonna say, "And this is how you butter up people." And I'm gonna turn my communicator back on. Betty, would you very please be so kind as to help us with the jammer when we get there? I'm not very good at it myself, and I need somebody with a super helping hand for me.
Oh, sweetheart, you didn't even have to ask. I would have helped no matter what. Okay, let's do this. Croker, I might need a set of hands. She does not need a set of hands. She just wants her man back. This is very much the case.
Completely fair.
Croker, for his part, nods at the communicator. Yes, of course. Where do you need me to go? How do you want me? And with that, she goes, "Oh, sweetheart, not in front of people." And then she's like, "Well, follow those two sweet angel babies, and I'll tell you what to do." Betty out, and then that she hangs up on him pretty much. And I will, I guess, roll for her later if that's cool.
Yeah,
I'm good with the same thing there.
That's fine. I mean, we can have them go back to the ship in a moment here. I will say there's an amusing moment on the bridge where Vopri notices the comm system is active but can't figure out why, because there's they're transmitting, but nobody is that he's aware of is communicating. But yeah, his console goes off the moment he realizes that.
I like that she's just vibing in the ship, just wreaking havoc. I love her so much.
Yep. So, yeah, question would be, do you folks on the side want to try and get the transmission off from the yawn, or do we want to go more towards the basically setting the bastards into motion?
Well, that's all right. I'm good either way. It'd be kind of interesting to see if they get that Tom out.
Yeah. Let's see here.
I'm good. Whatever.
GM, I have a question.
Ask away.
Because people are being mean and won't answer it. What year are we in? I forget.
Depends upon the calendar. As far as the Earth calendar goes, it would be about 2250 still.
Yeah.
Probably
It's
just
about it's 875 year of Kalis.
yes.
Okay.
So, for show timeline, we are about 6 or 7 years before Discovery, and all the events that come after that. Strange New Worlds, the original series, we predate that.
Okay. Another weird question.
Yes.
Would you say that there are Trill aboard Federation ships
Trill
at
are
this
members
time?
of the Federation, yes.
Okay. Cool.
Help me, help me, help me!
Yeah, that's what's about to happen.
Oh. Oh.
I'm tired of LARPing! Let me go home!
Oh no. Oh boy.
Oh no.
Okay. Yeah, so. Oh. Well. I was going to say that there'd be a moment where, as you're walking back towards the ship, Zionol would say, "Well, I'm wondering if we can get through that jamming. Who exactly are we supposed to reach out to? I don't
I look.
follow all these Klingon house politics, but it seems like these Klingons here got involved with a fight that shouldn't have been theirs, and I don't know whether the rest of their house would appreciate it. I certainly would have just been fine to cut my losses in their situation, though I suppose you've got some ties to great warriors you're thinking of, Traven?
Look him dead in the eyes and just say, I'm calling home. Our reinforcements won't get here in time, and if there's one thing I know, Federation is always exploring. We could have a chance.
Think on that dead silent. Zionol is like. I think that would catch Zionol completely off guard. So let's let that just drift for a bit as you get things together, and let's flip back around to Rladaar. Tell me, Rladaar. After the encounter on the rooftop, are you going to assemble the bastards? Are you what would you be up to?
I will definitely be assembling the gang for violence.
Very good. So, elsewhere in the city, near the front, Rladaar, you have the other warriors gathered with you. The Creole man that was among the last of those who tried to murder you, and whom you in turn tried to kill by feeding him to Dar. You have Dar, and you have Hemok.
Not even a single volunteer.
Nope. It's. Well, I mean, I guess Hemok kind of volunteered, but no, none of the warriors of House Kaloran, or like directly under their command, has come over to you. The warriors that you do see around appear to be moving towards positions. Many of them, like, looking very rough, or a few kind of limping to posts, relieving other soldiers, and only some of them appear to have disruptors properly.
Yeah. I think, with how this goes, I think we'll have enough people that all the survivors can leave on the yawn.
Dang.
Dar just looks to the bunch. Pity. Fool.
Agreed.
Yes. What you count as at least 3 warriors, Dar. We'll be fine. We do not need many.
Do I still count as 2?
Sure.
Yes.
Back up. Food.
Do you ever feed him?
All the time.
You should give him more food. I don't like the way he looks at us.
Well, there will be enemies dying on the way. He can have a snack.
Gaba. Ghoul.
Yeah, someone's gonna die.
All right. So
My character steps away from Dar.
um,
Every time he says that, I always envision Dar having out his claws in like that Italian hand pose.
unless Caligo says otherwise, it's canon.
All right.
You make the spicy meatballs, babe?
Dar does.
Mamma mia. Oh,
We're gonna find some sewer boys.
yep. Speaking of Rladaar, with the detailed scans you received from the yawn earlier, you venture forth into the towards a destroyed section of building, a mostly destroyed section. It allows you a utility access, or would if there weren't a bunch of rubble in the way. Dar quickly shovels that aside. Expedite.
Good. We will be moving quickly. The faster we destroy these duns, the faster we can leave.
And
Also,
I am
he's learning his big words.
blah.
Good enough.
I am going to say, just as a well, so we didn't necessarily set it up. I will ask you guys for 2 momentum here, just to have like a small enough antimatter bomb, basically, for your purposes, or the small photon bomb. However, we're
Yep.
like that there.
That'll be awesome. I was. If that wasn't the case, I was just want to make a bomb out of one of the disruptor pistols we have,
I gotcha.
because we know how destructive those things are.
Yeah. I mean, frankly, we could have. I suppose I could have just had you bring along a bunch of thermite grenades and try it that way.
Nah,
That.
that's more for melting.
Yeah. Okay. So you have a very minuscule amount of antimatter modulated into a basically a small component of a photonic warhead of sorts. Basically, something jury-rigged together that will give you quite the big kaboom. You probably don't want to be particularly nearby for that. The setting it off while you were nearby might be a measure of last resort, unless you know you can jump back underground quick enough, because it is such that it'd do a lot of damage. You don't want to be there. The jury-rigged disruptor pistol would work in a pinch, though, if you are stuck, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how good of a football player Dar would be if we had to do the short timer. He could throw the long pass.
Yeah. Okay, so you descend into the broken sewer system of the settlement. As you wrest open a hatchway and climb down a barely intact ladder, you are concerned for a moment, Rladaar, as it scarcely seems able to fit your weight, but it seems to hold its integrity. One by one, you climb on down. The last of you will be Dar, and Dar is just going to jump down and pull the obligatory superhero landing. Really, it's more like Dar is just barely big enough to fit down the hole and kind of just shimmies down through the wall before dropping the last little stretch. Yeah, so let's see here. immediately the smells of the sewer system like assail you as the various bits of broken brick and pipe work and fetid water or like liquid that is probably carrying some amount of relatively old sewage is kind of runs through. It's probably not. There isn't that much running, such that such as any electric pumping system would be active here. Probably none of that functioning, but chances are also that the sewer may have seen some floods at different points. So everything's just kind of a terrible mess. But yes, it's a very old, general sort of industrial setup. Just as a matter of helping with theater of the mind, I will move this over for visual purposes. There's like long brick tunnels with a series of series of pipes just all throughout throughout the tunnels in what appears to be very damaged but winding corridors. Let's see here. I guess I will ask as you guys transit through the sewer system. I'm going to lose my train of thought for a moment. Very good. Okay. I will just ask, well, let's see. There's kind of the main sort of central, path that does appear to be a bit flooded. There is some difficult terrain along the side that is less open, but could be a little difficult to step through. How would you guys want to advance through the tunnel?
Preferably quickly until we get about halfway through.
Let me take first.
Alright.
Okay, so Nagri takes point. The main path would involve stepping through the sewage then, or the fetid flows of, yeah.
Not my fault if you did not bring waterproof boots. I said get ready.
I'll say for your part, Nagri, you're in luck. The bottom part of your suit is vacuum proof. Unless they didn't let you keep your boots, then you're shit out of luck.
I hope they didn't take my shoes.
What am I wearing?
Kemok would be in. I'd say that he's got kind of a lighter, run-down bit of armor over some what would otherwise be some pretty drab civilian clothes that have not been washed in a time. The smell, honestly, might be a little improvement as Kemok has to enter the water himself.
This poor sad man. Smells like home.
Interesting.
Are you ready to push?
Yes.
I look around the corner. I'm gonna scan around corners, going through each way, covering each corner. Like if there's 3 pathways, I cover 1, 2, then the forward 3.
Gotcha. You advance this way through the broken tunnel system with the relatively smooth path. It's not pleasant. It doesn't feel great, but you are able to move through relatively unimpeded and with little signs of danger for the first segment. As you round about that halfway to like 2/3 point, I'm going to ask Nogari for a. Well, when you say scanning, do you have a physical scanner out, or is this just you looking around?
Visually and hearing.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you for an insight plus security roll, and anyone else that wishes to may assist him.
Let's see. Insight security.
Yep, hazard awareness definitely applies, Rladaar.
Alright, I will assist then.
Okay, so,
Zam.
well, while you don't assist, you at least do not complicate. Nogre, for your part, you notice that it seems as though there isn't much in the way of security measures here, but there are signs as you round another corner up ahead, standing on an outcropping of some of the destroyed brick, and facing away from you is a Klingon. It does not wear the armor that you've seen the other Klingons back out in the settlement wearing, and it appears to be more like the Hay'wI, those Klingons with the much more exaggerated ridges, but who by and large seem to lack hair.
I put out a hold symbol by closing my fist. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to put out one finger, and I point in that guy's direction.
I nod, understanding. So you're like, Dar, silent hunter, go.
Find prey.
And I point Dar in the direction.
Okay.
Let's step out of the way.
I know he could be a quiet bastard, so you know.
Yep. Oh God, I have a terrible idea. It depends on. Oh God. Caligo, do I have to do the thing that's funny because it is funny?
If you want to, sure.
Just say yes. Give
Yeah.
him the option. Thank you.
Oh, Dar becomes the nasty sewage boy.
Well, snakes rule.
There's a certain vicious, wear to his face, something almost like a smile or a grin, as he descends, using the wastewater to cover himself, slinking down but slowly descending so as not to create a splash. With that, as Joe, I'm gonna ask you to give me a let's see, that would be let's call this daring plus security roll, and I'm going to give you a free D20 to roll for Dar on this one.
Does any of the focuses work for this? Got melee combat, tracking, and physical endurance.
I am positive that something would come into play there.
Okay.
Pretty sure tracking works. Oh no, a natural 20.
Narrative. Do it.
Well, let me
Stupid.
roll against let's see what the House Mog soldier, like whether he can perceive him here. So let's give that insight plus security. Oh, initiative does go to the attacker in this case, or rather, success goes to the one taking initiative. So Dar does succeed, but I do need to ask the opinion of the group here. Do we take that complication as a narrative? Do we allow the GM to draw some threat to ignore that complication? Or do you want to spend momentum in order to avoid, just buy it off?
Narrative.
Joe, you are in control of the boy. you made the rule.
What would you like me to do?
Narrative.
Make your choice.
Well,
Narrative.
I'm gonna let fate decide. So
Narrative.
even it's narrative, odd it's the other option.
Okay.
There you go.
So odd would either mean, I guess the GM's just going to take threat then.
Dang it.
Ah. Ah.
Like, you already have a bajillion fucking threat. It doesn't matter.
Mm.
And now just a couple bajillion more.
Carry about plot, you know.
I don't think I've ever seen you with less than 10.
No, not in this campaign. You make a bad pun. Threat. Threat taken.
Well,
To be
you know, if somebody would stop bringing up Gawk pockets, I mean, come on, that jerk just
yeah.
needs to shut up.
Yeah, Rldaar.
Hey!
Stop,
That's not
stop,
me!
stop.
Wait, are you
Sure it
talking about
is.
that delicious pastry dish that you cook at 350? You take it
Yeah.
out, give it a
Yeah,
butter
and the
glaze.
captain really needs to stop talking about them. That is for sure.
Yeah. Stop talking about Gawk pockets, Tabok. Happy birthday, Sean.
Yeah.
We miss you.
Happy birthday, Sean.
I hope you're partying.
So
I
the
ordered a crate of Gawk for him, but I ended up eating it. Sorry.
that's okay. I'm sure you'll worm your way out of any negative implications.
Mentally, I'm high-fiving you.
But also the GM has made his own bad pun, which now means
And you should have to give some of that threat back as a punishment.
oh no, and instead I'm just going to break the other rule.
Oh, God.
Remember, folks, in order to enjoy Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword and Star Trek Adventures Aegis, you don't have to have a sense of humor, but a warped sense of humor really does tend to help.
Good.
Mhm.
Good. So anyway, this Klingon doesn't take notice of the horrible monster that is coming up behind him, in part because he is very focused on the two streams he is emitting. Thank you, Discovery, I guess. And it is just as finishes up there and is getting himself situated that Dar closes the distance and is able to go full Silent Hunter. Joe will go for a redemption roll there, daring plus security, and once again, I will give you the third die for free. How? How does that? Okay, I'm going to say, find prey is actually one of Dar's values. I am perfectly willing to allow you to re-roll that, or at least the 2 dice, because we have 1 success alongside 2 zeros and another complication. Okay. So that is 2 successes from Dar. And the warrior complicates. So, as narrative complication, I'm going to say first and foremost, you got 2 points of success to their 1, so that means that you get a point of momentum back. I'll award that. Dar sweeps in behind and just quickly grabs the Klingon extremely fast, like compressing the air out of him before he can even think to try and scream, likewise going for a bite at the throat and just ripping that out completely. I'll not even force you to roll damage, just auto kill. This man is dead. The GM takes a point of threat because technically you murdered somebody, and I still get that, even in the Klingon game.
Ew.
There is a rule in the Klingon book. If you don't want to take threat every time you kill somebody, there is a talent you can take for that.
A talent?
Yes.
I guess we need to get the fucking talent for him.
Wait. If that's the case, how much did you get when Croker killed so many people?
Oh, I think I was just too stunned to give myself threat at the time.
Oh, good. Oh my god.
But yes, so the Klingon is dead, and as part of the complication, Rladaar, as you and the rest of them approach, you hear an audio line from a wristborne communicator.
Yes.
Well, no, I'm saying that the Mog soldier, he, like, as far as his personal equipment, he has a disruptor, he has a few other, like, small bits of rations and whatnot, but he also has an active wrist communicator on him, attuned to the frequencies of the Mog forces.
Oh, so it's on.
It is on standby mode, so people did not just hear him get his throat ripped out, but it is available for use.
I am going to definitely link up so I can start listening in. Is this an engineering check of some variety?
Well, if you would like to make the check, you can. Otherwise, I think this would just be a free thing I could give you.
All right.
Yeah. So the listening for a few minutes through the checks, through the messages, there is an array of routine checks along the line, advisements of soldiers rotating from positions, warriors preparing to load up for another barrage, coordination with one of the bird of preys that's in orbit, just a captain who's apparently itching to pinpoint a few warriors if anybody tries to raid. There is one one message from the lines, from one of the comm lines you can pick up, seemingly soldiers in the unit, saying, "Oh, command, we're preparing to reload our main disruptor battery with the casings. I suppose it may not be necessary if those fools from the House of Kalorn actually comply with our Lord's call to surrender. Not likely that'll happen, though." Let's see. Sorry, lost my place here. Okay. A message comes out and says, mind yourselves and comport yourselves with honor. Colonel Sheikh La will be inspecting our segment of the line here shortly. We do not want them to find us wanting or lazy. And with that, there's a brief exchange of just a simple kapla and signing off. I will say from the comms that suggested a local frequency, so there might actually be a modestly high-ranking officer near the gun when you get there.
I see.
So
Quite the problem. It'll be fine.
Well, with this new potential complication or possible boom, Rladaar, the others are, I guess, just standing about. Dar is chowing down. Is there anything else that you'd want to do right in the moment here?
Does he have a melee weapon?
Yes, he does have a kind of a weird kind of scythe-looking mek'leth.
I'm gonna grab it.
Okay, I'll assign you one mek'leth. Alright. So, let's see here. Oh. Alright.
That's what I need.
So, well, I think at this point, since we're about 10 minutes till, and partly I'm starting to feel a bit rougher at this point, everybody, this may be a good time, actually, to call things for now. If you are okay with that.
Of course. I hope you feel
No,
better.
you have to work through the sickness.
No.
Retail all over
Kidding.
again.
Sorry.
Right, alright. So, Rladaar with the potential complication or boon of a high-ranking warrior that will be nearby or on hand as you prepare to deliver this surprise attack. I think that as you plot your next move and how to effect this raid, we will go ahead and we will end the session here for tonight. So, for those of you joining us in the archive, we appreciate you stopping and catching this episode, and we will be back next time with more Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword. Until then, you folks have a good rest of your day.